What's up, everyone? This is Rick or Treat, and you are watching The Pumpkin Patch. So, if you can see, today I'm all up in my Ryther swag. Today is going to be a little bit different than normal. I kind of wanted to just do a fun little Rythers-based video for you guys. So, just a few updates. We are still working on getting those pre-orders finished. Apologies for the lag on it. You know, this pandemic has really thrown us through a loop. Some of us have been unemployed. Depression hits, motivation, all that stuff. So we're still, cranking away at getting those things done for you. I think we appreciate all of your support, regardless of that. And hope to be getting those out to you before the new year. Along with that, we do have a lot of things that we're working on to get you guys more content, whether that be through future social media stuff or future music stuff. So hopefully you guys stick around a little bit longer. I'd like to say I can guarantee it'll be worth the wait. So I appreciate all of that. So today's video is a little bit different, like I said. What I'd like to do, my first video on this channel was a top 5 horror punk bands video, right? Looking back at it, I wish I had done it a little bit differently, but I do stick to those bands. This video is going to be kind of in the same vein, but rather than favorite horror punk bands, I want to do 5 songs that I believe would be really cool to cover with my band, the Rythers. With that being said, the specific to it is these are bands that are either local or not really the bigwigs. People, I know the horror punk scene is not like huge. I could even reach out to like Goolsby and talk to him, and he knows my name and etc. Things like that, right? But what I mean is people that I have interacted with outside of seeing them perform, or that I've played with them in multiple arenas, or I feel like I could have that experience with them if they're not from California, if that makes any sense. So with that being said, bands like Goolsby and Calabrese, while I've played shows with them and have had conversations with them, they will not be on this list. With that out of the way, this is not a comprehensive list, and this is not a top 5. This is just 5 songs I think would be rad, and how I would switch it up if I got the chance to perform it. So first on my list is one of my all-time favorites, horror punk bands. Not very many people know them because I think they were only around they were working on a 3rd album. They were only around for 2 albums. They are out of Cincinnati. They are called The Creature. I do have a video where I talk a little bit about them. And the song that I would like to do is called Wurdulac. Let me pull that up real quick. I think the song itself is definitely in the vein of the direction I'm currently wanting to go, something that I'm calling like skate goth. Still has that punk vibe, still pretty spooky, but not really in the same way that like most horror punks do it. I always really appreciated that about this band, that their stuff was definitely horror punk, definitely like death rock inspired, but it was not the same as everything else. So for me, if you guys have listened to our new track, Devil Mask Approaches, I feel like that is what I was calling skate goth before we had a full title name for it. I think this sound is definitely one of the bigger inspirations of at least what I'm doing on there. And I think that if we kept a cover strict to form like this, really, aggressive skate punk with that spooky vibe. Once it gets into, I'm not going to play the whole song, but once it gets into it, it definitely has a lot more like gothy elements and theremin, things like that. I think are really cool that I think we could fuck around with. You throw some accordion onto it and make it sound really cool. So I think that is one song that I definitely would love to cover. This is another one. So, I did say no big wigs on this channel video. I'm going to say, even though I do think that the Order of the Fly is horror punk royalty, I've got like Ralph's number in my phone, so I don't. they're like friends at this point, So I mean, I've played with them multiple times and played with his other project, E&D, a couple times. So definitely fit for this list. They're SoCal natives, or at least based out of SoCal. I mean, and I'd really love to do a cover of their song "Rot." That is my favorite by them, not to be confused with our song "Rot, Rot, Rot." Their song "Rot." So with this one, this is a little bit different. I wouldn't stick strict to this form. As much as I love it, I think they've already perfected it. What I would like to do is strip that shit down and make it super slow and sort of ambient and atmospheric, to really highlight the lyrics on it. Not a long song lyrically. As itself, it's a really short song anyway. But I think that it would be really cool to hear this like in a really atmospheric sort of goth vibe to it. I think that would be rad. So that's what I'd like to do. Maybe we can make it happen. I don't know. The next track is from the Homies. I guess ideally all of this is, but this is a band that it's definitely risen up from the last couple of years. They've only been around for a little bit, it seems, and they are getting to that bigwig status of this current horror punk wave, right? If you don't already know, that is 5 Cent Freakshow, and I would love. I'd probably love to cover most of their songs, but I would definitely love to cover Run Fatty Run. So that song is fucking great. I love it. I think something in me is telling me that we could make this more like we could up the punks. Whatever that means for you. I'd say that this would be really cool if it had if we were to do a cover of it, if we made it way more into our like Dead Kennedys influenced sound, right? We're always being compared to Dead Kennedys and the Cramps, so those are very clearly two major influences. And I think if we took a song like this and made it a little bit more zany, that I think it would be fucking awesome. Again, not to say that these originals are bad at all. I fucking love them, and I want to pay homage to the bands that did them. I think I love seeing bands do covers of songs and finding out that they are like contemporaries, right? You know, if I did a song on "Shut Your Mouth, Open Your Eyes," and it was by a band called Filth. The song was "Your Lesson for Today," and the song's fucking awesome. And then you go back and you listen to the original, and it's still fucking awesome, right? So I'd like to be able to do something like that. Like I said, pay homage to the homies in the scene. So next track that I think would be really cool is by one of my current favorite local death rock bands, Detoxi. I used to tour, or I used to play shows with the guitarist Oscar's old band, Catholic Spit. We toured around a little bit together. My old band, They Feed at Night. So I would definitely love to do a cover of one of their tracks. I mean, again, any of them at this point, but I'm leaning. I think that we would do really well with a song that they put out on the Nardcore for Life compilation called Corpse Window. Such a rad song. I think, again, while I really like the original style, I think the writers could do a really cool surf version of it. Like we pump the surf stuff up because there's some. I mean, the beats, right? From the way I'm hearing it, that's a surf drum beat, right? Just lean into that shit. That would be dope. I think it'd be really cool for us. Like, I do think eventually I'd like to do a little bit more like death rocky stuff for the writers, but just given the way our music sounds, the way Robert's voice sounds, it might lend itself a little bit better to something in that like surfier vibe. Maybe keep the atmosphere of this one, but up the surf, man. Like, do that shit. That'd be dope. So last on this list of gothy horror punk bands, there's a band that I used to play with back in the day. From Minneapolis, played a few shows with them. They're called The Funeral and the Twilight, aka TFAT. Fucking awesome band. They mix together, like real heavy, grindy metal with like spooky gothy stuff, with like psychedelic, like depending on which album you're listening to, you're going to get a different vibe from it. My favorite album is The Cross of St. Peter, and they have a song. They have a part 1 and a part 2 of a song called Witches. I just think that the whole thing is rad, and it definitely fits right up our alley. I think this one would be strict to form. This is Witches Part 1. Tonight, sky's bullet, it's a bullet, I'm a fucking night. Kind of night that's gonna come down upon us. The moon is screaming, the birds are crying, the moon is screaming. My wife can't get up, can't open a goddamn eye. Oh no. Who's walking like man too? This witch's got a lot of nerves. There's a spell that I'm hanging in her son. I feel like Robert would do really well with that. Again, we can throw some accordion into it. Really make it vibe with our stuff. But stylistically, I think it would be a lot of fun to do. And I think people would dig it. And it'd be nice to show homage to a band like this that I don't think a lot of people know. Not saying that we're big or anything, but a lot of people in the scene don't know because they're not active anymore. And I think that's really what this is about. We could always do, fucking all the Misfits covers that we want, right? But like everyone knows the Misfits already. Like, that's cool, but why not highlight some of the bands that we love and that we're friends with, right? So what do you guys think? I don't know. I'm gonna leave the links to these songs underneath in the caption, and check them out. Just like fucking pump these guys up, listen to them. Do you think the Writers would do good covers of those tracks? If not, why? If so, why? I want to start a conversation here. I want to know what songs you guys think we would do covers of really well. Maybe we'll take that into consideration. Maybe we might do it. I don't know. I can't promise. Got to get our shit done first. But with that being said, I appreciate all you guys. I don't know if this video is going to do well. I don't really care. This is just something I wanted to do. I think would be fun, right? And see what you guys think and see what you guys think of these songs. With that being said, as always, be safe out there. Have a good holiday, and make sure you wear your mask. And remember that Black Lives Matter. And fuck Donald Trump. This has been Rick Retreat, and you've been watching The Pumpkin Patch.